Hello everybody, this is Buddy Webb, Midland, Texas. I'm going to do a video for you here I think you're going to find interesting. We're going to look at maps, Google Earth, Bing Maps, and Google Maps on the internet. And what I want to show you is some things I found that might be clues into the crimes here. The multiple murders, the suspected murder of the last homeowner, the murder of the young girl at the oil show party who I believe was found in 2013 outside of Midland, and then the murder attempt of my life, which is proven because we know I wasn't shot with my gun, and the multiple people that are documented saying the underground homes and tunnels are here, which included a recent candidate for sheriff, said our last sheriff used to hang out down there. And so I think you're going to find this real interesting. Check this out. Hello everybody, Buddy Webb, Midland, Texas. Got a new video for you today, and I found an old map. It was on an old hard drive that I had that I don't post, and I think it's interesting, may have clues to it, and so I posted it on my Facebook, and that's what we're looking at here. This one was from Bing Maps. Usually I use Google Maps, and I could tell by looking at it, like the truck that's here, that was not my truck. That was Mike Lawhon's truck. It's actually sitting up on blocks there, or I think it's his truck, but it's when he lived here, and so it was before I moved here. So this, plane or satellite flew over, and they took this picture before I moved here. Okay, and which I think is important because obviously the rigging of this home with the underground hidden access happened before I moved here. So I was just looking at this picture, and there's some of the things that I pointed out in it, that in the backyard here, the ground was dug up where this mystery depression is. You can see it real clear right here. And here at the end of this video, I go outside and I show you that. I'm going to show you a video of that area right there where that's dug up. So, and which is important because, multiple people said tunnels, underground homes are here. Proof shows somebody under my home shot me. Interesting right here in the east neighbor's driveway is a blue truck. That was his truck. He doesn't have any more, but there was dirt in the back of it. I thought that was interesting, because dirt's dug up here and the back of that truck's full of dirt. And then also notice right here that the suspected tunnel entrance, which I believe was a tunnel entrance probably coming over to the underground home that was here, was not there yet. So that kind of, and I can put dates on that when I noticed that it's not there. This was where I was shot, ambushed and shot, and that was in 2012. Of course, it's also believed that Mike Lawhon died here in October 2008. And also interesting right here, these are concrete boards laid right here on the ground. And somebody had removed one of them right here. And on the other side of this, right here on this property, on the west neighbor, is a huge pile of dirt. I also go out here and we look at that up close to show you that somebody had to haul in that dirt. So maybe the dirt that's piled up here came from the basement tunnel building. Because if you're going in there and you're digging out, enough dirt to put in a 3-bedroom underground home, you're going to have a lot of excavation dirt that you either got to haul out or you got to do something with. And so maybe some of it come over here. I believe it was also spread out across my lawn. And that's why I noticed that my lawn had been covered in like 1.5 feet of dirt. And I showed just a little bit about that too. And so that's the new picture I have that was on, which is an old picture for Bing Maps, okay? And then they'll let a write-up on it. Here's an old Bing Maps that I found. It was taken sometime before I moved here. I knew that because of the truck. Mike Lawhon's, I talk about the pickup truck here filled with dirt right there. The concrete boards I pointed out. But also I said here, I also noticed that the suspected tunnel entrance that was not in the backyard yet of the east neighbor's homes. And Google Maps showed me that was installed between 3/31/08 and 12/5/09. I'm going to show you more pictures of that here in a minute. And then I'll make it a point. Mike Lawhon is now suspected of being murdered here on 10/12/08, with the oil show starting the following week. Then I bought this home a couple weeks earlier or later, and I think that's important because it's believed that the oil show parties were held in the underground homes here, and so I think he probably murdered him premeditated on purpose because they were preparing for the oil shows, and their parties are coming up that was going to be in his backyard. The question's been asked, did Mike know about this? You know what I mean? I mean, surely he knew somebody was digging in his yard, right? And you would think, and of course, I don't know exactly when this picture was taken, but But that it is a question. Did Mike Lawhon know about the underground home in the backyard? Was he just an unsuspecting homeowner that had reported crime to the police and was murdered for it? Or did he trap, a burglar in his house like I did and they killed him? We don't know why they murdered Mike, but I feel sure they did murder him. Okay. I went on and made one more comment here, and I said, after I survived the murder attempt, I would later see on police reports where the same neighbor, that was the east neighbor, said that I was slashing their tires, but I never slashed a tire in my life, and if I had, then it would be seen on my security cameras. I believe this lie was made up as they were trying to smear my name to cover up the failed murder, and maybe they're friends with Detective Rosie Rodriguez, who's been caught tampering with evidence, lying. She's a lifelong friend of that ex-wife, and she's actually the one that closed my case personally. Okay, and so you can see Detective Rosie Rodriguez. It was on this police report that I saw that. She mentions that my foot's not amputated, and I think that was important to her. I think probably she was working with the doctors trying to get them to cut off my leg. I sincerely, I believe someday if the truth ever comes out, and I don't consider her a good person or even an honest person, but somebody knows the truth, and I believe that we're going to find out that Rosie Rodriguez was working with them doctors trying to get them to cut off the evidence, my leg. Okay, and she writes, I contacted and spoke with Buddy's neighbor. That's that neighbor on the side that had the suspected tunnel entrance in the backyard, and I was informed the oldest teenage son parked a vehicle on his property next to Buddy. In the morning, his tires were slashed. Well, if it was, like I said, I had cameras out there, the same cameras that seen Woodward and Naylor arrive and didn't see Dickie arrive. Them cameras, and I didn't slash anybody. They believed it was Buddy. Of course, I didn't know about this. I didn't find out till a couple years later. Also interested, Rosie Rodriguez contacted the hospital to evaluate and have me committed personally, right? Even though I had been cleared by mental health at the hospital, and now proof shows I wasn't even shot with my gun. I'm a victim. I'm the crippled victim of a home invasion and capital attempted murder. And really all I did was move in from out of town, buy a home that was already rigged, and they tried to murder me and steal my stuff. That's what happened. There's one more. I have this picture, I think, set out in my group of pictures. But I said, about a week before I was ambushed and shot inside my own home, I crawled up on my roof looking for a tunnel entrance, and I saw this in the backyard of that east neighbor. Google Earth shows it was put in sometime around the time that the last homeowner died and taken out around the 2015 time frame. That was the same time as when the live tree was removed too. So I'm going to show you here. I got on my roof, and I want to show you how this works here. These are 4 pictures for Google Earth, and each of them are dated. This one was dated 3/31/01, and it was before I moved here. And all I'm showing is here in the neighbor's backyard that we don't see the tunnel entrance. So we know it's not there by that date, but we know it is there by December 5th, 2009. So you see this that right there, that looks like a storm cellar door right here on the other side of his shed. My home's here. This is where I was ambushed and shot, And so we know in this time frame is when that was put in, that tunnel entrance, okay? And then when it's taken out based on Google Earth, here 10/2/14, it was there. And then here on 4/28/16, it's gone. Okay, so they removed it. Okay, and in this time frame, and I believe the reason is because I'm on Facebook and on YouTube, and I'm getting millions of views on videos. I'm showing all this evidence. I'm saying, hey, there's a capital attempted murder. And of course, at the same time, that live tree was taken out back here where another suspected tunnel entrance is. I'm going to show you more of that here in a minute. This is a close-up picture. This is the neighbor's shed. And my yard is right here, that direction. And then what you can see here, see these boards leaned up against there? They're leaned up there where if you're in my yard, you couldn't see that because them boards blocked the view of this. It was covered. It was hiding it back behind there. And literally, and after I was shot, I would see people out here in the middle of the night with flashlights, because I could see flashlights at night. I would hear people out there in this backyard, in this area. So I believe this was a suspected tunnel entrance, and it was going to where that underground home is right next to it. So anyway, I want to show you that. That's the yard of the east neighbor. Let's, Okay, this here is, I'm going to flip over to just Google Maps. You can do that on any computer, on your phone. You just go maps.google.com. Almost all of us have used Google Maps, okay? And I put in my address, 3802 Fair Circle, Midland, Texas, okay? And then hit it, and when you see it, here's the Home Depot store right there, okay? And so here what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in on that, and that's the Midland Home Depot store, so it's easy to find on your Google Maps, okay? Okay, and what I want to show you here is right here. Here's my home. This is where I was ambushed and shot, and then, you know, and in the backyard, I don't know if you can see it, there's a large facility in the backyard. I'm going to try to get up close on it. See that large facility? You can't see that from above ground. It's not there, okay? Now I flip over to the satellite view, and it's not there. See, it's empty ground. I'm going to flip it back over, and there it is, real clear. And I believe that is one of the 4 3-bedroom underground homes that are buried at least 25 foot deep. Cost over $1 million a piece. You know, that's multiple people have told me they were here, and I believe that's where they were having them parties, them famous parties by the wealthy oil men during the Permian Basin International Oil Show. And then they're probably having parties that only happens every other year, so they're probably having other functions and parties there. You know, I think on the night that I'm shot, which wasn't during the oil show, there was a party going on. The ex-wife had told me in so many words there was a lot of people here. I've wondered if they wasn't having swinger parties or sex parties underground there, and I had reason to believe that. But I wanted to show you that on Google Maps, and then I also want to show you another tool I use, Google Earth. That's a free download, Google Earth, okay? So you can download it, install it on your computer, and you can just put in my address right there, search right here, and I'm gonna click search. I'm gonna show you how this works, okay? Okay, so there it's moving. And that's how Google Earth works. Now I can just use my mouse, I can zoom in, okay? And so a lot of my pictures come using this tool right here, okay? So here, once again, this is my house. Here's where I was ambushed and shot, my cul-de-sac, Fair Circle. And down here at the bottom, it's going to show us the date. 5/29/18. So that plane flew over, or satellite or whatever, it takes this picture, and so it's a snapshot of that date, you know. And so we know on this date, in May 2018, like I said, the live tree's gone. Okay, you know, that's something you can tell, you know. And here, look, we're going to look at that. We looked at that a while ago where the concrete boards were missing there, etc. Okay, and so and other thing up here on your toolbar, I'm going to show you here, is this one looks like a clock, okay? Right there. And see, it's a slider bar, and you see the dates, so I can go back in time. So there, I just jumped to June 2011. So this picture was 6 months before I'm ambushed and shot by somebody under my home. And what I want to show you here, and I'm going to show you another pictures here in a minute. This is where I got a lot of these pictures, the historical pictures. See where the ground's cut right there behind Home Depot? Coming, and when you project that straight out, it goes right there into my house. That's the tunnel that's where I showed Homeland Security, where I believe the human trafficking tunnel was. And over here is where it's believed one of the underground homes is, right here. And that was using Google Maps. So I just wanted to show you how I use the historical pictures. And then also see here in that backyard was that suspected tunnel entrance. Okay, you see how big that is in that backyard right here. Okay, and then, but when we switched dates, 2013, 2014, boom, it's gone. They took it out. Oh, look there. They also took this tree out. Well, live tree, at the same time frame. I'm going to show you here. And we got to ask, why did they take the tree out, right? And I think that the obvious answer is, it was connected with the cover-up of the crimes here with the hidden underground access. And remember, it's not just my home. After I'm ambushed and shot, I reported somebody in my attic a year before I was ambushed and shot. And even at the hospital, the nurse records me saying burglar alarms going off in my attic over and over and over. Now homeowners all over Midland, Odessa, Texas, and multiple other states are documented reporting people in the attic. Many of these are police scanner calls. I mean, there's a dozen addresses just Midland, Odessa, and I believe all of them are rigged in a similar manner. They've come underneath the home. They've modified a wall so they can crawl up into an attic, and then that allows them to come and go all they want. They can sleep there, break apart the HVAC system for air conditioning and heating, so they're still in heating, cooling, electricity, shelter from the homeowner. And if you try to stop them, you're going to get murdered. You know, if you report them to the police, then they'll probably destroy your life with lies. You know, and because and they're not telling everybody this is going on all over the place. You know, there's no telling how many people have been murdered. Okay, so now let's just go look at some of the mini pics that I collected. This is the one we looked at a minute ago. I'm not going to go over that one again. This is a different Bing map picture. This is the old one. Nobody's seen this one as far as I'm concerned. And so what I want to show you, I thought was interesting, and we're going to zoom in. That's how I zoom in on these. Look like a trail in the backyard. Do you see that in my backyard where it's going over to that shed? And I want to show you there. So what we can see in this picture here, nothing, the suspected tunnel entrance is not there. There looks like, you know, a trail that goes over here. That area is dug up right there. But we can also see that right there with, like I said, I'm going to go out there in person. We're going to see that here in a minute. So that's an older map before I moved here. Here's one of the oldest satellite maps I got. Okay, I found this on the Midland city side. It's no longer there, but it was many years ago, a few years back. My home again, my backyard. Okay, and what I noticed was in my backyard, it looked like a ditch was cut right here. Can you see that? And when I projected that out, it went over to where the two side-by-side manholes were. Here about a week ago, they were back there pouring concrete. I made a video about it, you know, pouring concrete again. And, you know, once again, it's believed it was being done to cover up capital murders. You know, that's why I really suspect it was going on. But if you just project it out, that's where it goes. And then here, it looks like it connects to these cinder blocks that are buried on this corner of my house, and I didn't get a picture of it. And then if you go straight line over here, that's where that suspected tunnel entrance was here. Okay, and so I just want to show you that old satellite map. Looks like a, and I think maybe you know, that man-sized tunnel bomb, that's what was used. The people in the attic were meeting the truckers over there, and they were running a 24/7 sex trafficking business, like a truck stop, like lot lizards. And so they'd rigged a private home that they didn't even own, and they were using it for organized crime, organized prostitution. And as I said, you try to stop them and they kill you, you know. And then and sadly we have corrupt police. I mean, you know, I found them pictures of the police. I had to pay to get them identified. It took 6 years. That's never happened before in the history of America. They should have been arrested long time ago, you know. But instead of that happening, I've lived under the threat of death, you know, with my name smeared all over the place. And the only thing I did was buy a home and, you know, and volunteer to raise money for the United Way. You know, they're just killing one homeowner after another by rigging these homes, you know. And public corruption is a big part of it. This is what I call a 50,000 foot view. So you back way out and you took a picture of it. I was showing you the parking lot over here. That's why I think the people at the Old Party were parking in this parking lot, going underground here, coming back on that tunnel that I showed you over here, coming to the underground homes here. Here, the man-sized leftover tunnel pipe in the west neighbor's yard. I'm going to show you that again in a minute. And this is this open manhole was the two side-by-side manholes on the back side of Home Depot where that live tree was taken out. I sent this picture to Chief of Police Price Robinson just a couple months after I was ambushed and shot. And another thing I'm showing you, here's Midland Drive right here. So you driving by and you look down and all you see is the building, because it comes, you have to turn back here. So this whole trucking lane is totally secluded. You know, nobody can see back there, and there's like a 8-foot wall right here separates residential commercial. Of course, I can see when a trucker's there, see lights, and I can hear noise and all that on the other side of this secluded truck unloading lane, you know. And so it's believed that there's, you know, a tunnel went over there, and I've shown evidence on that. Okay, let me show you another map. This is a more clear map. I use this one all the time to show, and once again, these are just, you know, the Google Earth maps. I'm showing the big parking lot. And see, I was at Home Depot, and I'm telling my story to a clerk there one day, and she just blurts out, if you see a lot of cars in the parking lot late at night, then it's because we're stalking. And I hadn't seen that, I hadn't asked, I hadn't thought about it, nothing. She just, you know, like a clue, she blurted that out. But, you know, you think about it, a Permian Basin International Oil Show party would have a lot of people, and they would need parking, and they would need an excuse, right? Well, you know, why y'all parking in that parking lot? Oh, we're stalking, right? And I think they were going underground right here, and they were coming back that tunnel. You can see it right there where the ground was cut, right? And it come directly to my house, and in my backyard was one of the $1 million underground homes, and that's where they're having the party at. And then that one little girl in 2010 didn't want to prostitute, so they killed her. You know, they gave her a choice. You know, it's either you prostitute or you die, because these are sex traffickers. These are human traffickers. And I think this whole thing, that's really what it is, you know, it's a $32 billion market, you know. In 2013, the remains of a young girl were found outside of Midland. I believe it's the girl that was murdered at the 2010 oil show party that Angie Mungia Herrley told me about, my friend. And she was leaving my house, driving to the party, and there in 5 minutes. I think she drove around, parked in the Home Depot parking lot, went down here, went underground, come back over here via this ditch. And I'm going to show you here in a minute. Last year, I showed Homeland Security. I was back here with Homeland showing them. I gave them this map and told them, hey, here's what I think was going on. You know, this is the human trafficking murder tunnel. 2 weeks later, the ground's dug up. They're pouring concrete back there. You know, I'm not kidding you at all, you know. And a couple weeks after that, Congressman Conaway announces that he's retiring. Come to find out, his brother-in-law used to live across the street right here. Congressman Conaway, you know. And then 3 months later, the Secretary of Homeland resigned. 6 days after that, the Secretary of Energy resigned, and that was Rick Perry, was governor of Texas when I was ambushed shot, when them oil show parties were going on. And you can see how the Secretary of Energy were connected with oil shows, oil companies, oil parties. Okay, next door is Target here. And there was something I didn't show you there. See if I can get to it. Not there. Here. What I want to show you here, I'm on Google Maps. This is interesting because here's Home Depot. Here's Target. And you know that underground facility in my backyard can't see from above ground? It looks like there's another one between Home Depot and Target. I'm going to back off, and y'all can go look that up yourself. So here's Target, here's Home Depot, and there's one more of them. It looks like, you know, so maybe this is one of the 4 underground homes right there in that parking lot between Target and Home Depot, you know. And so maybe that's where the girl was murdered at. And like I said, here's my home right here, and this right here, I've already showed you can't see that from above ground. So that looks the same. That's what I want to show you. Okay, back to our maps. Okay, and I showed you this picture before. It's a zoomed in picture of what it looks like where the ground was cut, where I believe the tunnel was going. You know, my son was here a couple weeks before I was ambushed and shot. And, you know, one thing he said while he's here with his brother, Preston Corgle, and you know, and he said, Dad, it just don't make sense somebody going underground then coming back over here in the tunnel. And then he giggles and he looks over at Preston like they had a secret. And now here I am, of course, 2 or 3 weeks later, I'm ambushed and shot by somebody under my home. And you know, and now he don't even talk to me for no known reason, you know. But I think all along my son even knew about it. My son knew about it, and you know, and that was, you know, and I think Preston Corgle knew about it, you know. Anyway, Ricky Ronaldo used to live in my house. He said, when I was a kid, there were tunnels under the house. Me and my brother would always go down there. I took a print screen of it, you know, and so law enforcement could ask him. That was the manhole on the other side of the Home Depot wall. There were 2 side-by-side manholes. That was next to where the live tree was removed. And that lid was left off for a couple years. That's the picture that I sent to Chief of Police Price Robertson after I had survived the murder attempt in 2012. This picture here, it's dated in 2020, July 19th. Look at them pouring concrete. You can see the concrete coming out of the truck. Okay, here's the wall, and here's my home on the other side of the wall. 2 weeks before this, on July 2nd, I had been back there with Homeland Security Agent Paul, and I showed him where I believe the human trafficking murder tunnel was. And then next thing I know, they're digging up the ground, pouring concrete. And some people have asked if they were trying to cover up capital murders, if that was tampering with evidence to cover up capital murders. And so that's still to be determined, but I got a feeling that's what it looks like. Okay, this is on the other side of the wall. I want to show you. This picture's taken after the live trees were removed, because there was a live tree right here, and I numbered these columns so I knew exactly where I was at. Here's a telephone pole. It has the mystery coax that goes into the ground for sudden link. Nobody can tell you where it goes. I believe it goes to underground homes. And I'm showing here's the west manhole, here's the east manhole, and where's the missing tree. You know, nobody's ever explained why did they take a live tree out that's set next to the 2 side-by-side. Why was there 2 side-by-side manholes? And that's where they were pouring concrete about a week ago. I got a video called Pouring Concrete Again. And then also notice where they had marked the curbs right here at the same place. place. And the west manhole, that's the one lines up with that old satellite picture where it looks like that ditch was cut in my backyard. I believed it was used for human trafficking, for the truckers that were coming over here. And there's another picture of the same thing. So I just wanted to show you that one. Dated maps, and Google Earth historical maps, it shows me that the tunnel entrance wasn't in that backyard on this date, 3/31/08. I wasn't here at that time, but it was here on 12/5/09. So it is there on that date. It's not there on that date. So we know for a fact it was put in between them two dates, right? Everybody agree with that, right? And what happened during them two dates? Mike Lawhon dies, and the neighbor said he died in this house twice, and that's what the Odessa American said on their second revised death notice they posted on the internet. Okay, and then here it was taken out. Of course, I'm making videos and I'm taking pictures and all that. I'm going, look here, suspected tunnel entrance right here. Well, all of a sudden, here it's taken out. It's here on October 2014. It's gone by April 2016. It's no longer there. Okay, so it's been removed. Okay, and then here is where the live tree was taken out next to two side-by-side manholes, the other suspected tunnel entrance. Okay, this picture I show all the time, and we've seen it actually on Google Maps. And basically I'm showing, here's the bunker, and then you can't see the bunker. And then I'll list some of the evidence. A woman was recorded telling me there were 4 3-bedroom underground homes having pedophile parties down there. It's not Buddy said, she said. I have the phone recording posted on YouTube. Rhonda Denman Rogers told me that one underground home's a half block away. Once again, I have a print screen. Layla O'Brien from Houston, a CAD programmer, told me she worked on this project, they called it the Safe House Project. It was finished in 1987 at a cost of $7.35 million. She believed the Bushes were connected to it. Midland is the hometown of the Bushes, and at the time, George Sr. was vice president. And then lastly, Sheriff candidate Joe Lozano earlier this year, I secretly recorded him telling me that these underground homes that are here was the hideout for Sheriff Painter. And and I remember Angie, my friend that was at the 2010 Oil Show party, she was afraid to report that murder of that girl and said high-level police were there, and I'm suspecting that Painter was one of them. Okay, here's another picture dated here in April 2016, and what I'm going to show you, you can tell it was shortly after the tunnel entrance, suspected tunnel entrance, was removed in that backyard. Okay, and here's the tree gone. Okay, and I also want to point out, here's a water well here, and a water well might be a clue to where the 4 underground homes are. And then the digging noise that I recorded right here at this place, and I have a video on that, of course. And then here, of course, I'm shot over there. Here, once again, and these are side-by-side pictures. 10/2/14, tunnel entrance is there. 4/28/16. Tunnel entrance is gone. Okay, so we know that the suspected tunnel entrance was removed. Has law enforcement ever, investigated, asked, and like I told many people, obviously, $1 million underground homes hosting parties for international oil shows, believed where police were there that they know about it. Okay, so that if you know about these underground homes, then you know about the capital murders. As far as I'm concerned, you have evidence on capital crimes that could send people to the, get the death penalty for capital. There, and it's not just one; it's multiple murders. Here was Rhonda Denman Rogers telling me. She said, we're talking. I said, my home's near an underground facility. She says, I know it's a half block away. Well, my backyard is not a half block away, but around the corner is an empty lot, is a half block away. Okay, this is on Whittle Way. You can see that right here, Whittle Way. That house is Westmont Court. There's a water well. Well, I showed you there's a water well in my backyard next to where the underground home is. And so maybe the water well is next to the underground homes. Okay, see that? And that home had the same mortar problem that my home had. And it's believed that the mortar problem was caused from digging under the home. It caused the foundation to drop and broke the mortar joint. And so my home and this home had mortar problems. And then there's a water well. There's an empty lot. I'm thinking maybe that's what, that could have been also where they're having the oil show party. Maybe the little girl was murdered in the, in an underground home there. Maybe that owner doesn't know about it. As far as I know, he works for Concho, big oil company. This one I've got them marked up, and I think most everything on here I've already showed you. there's a house on Westmont Court that I was showing you there a minute ago. Here's the empty lot, and this picture was taken before the water well was drilled in that backyard. This home right here, that's the home I call the Conaway home. That's the home that was owned by the brother-in-law of U.S. Congressman Mike Conaway. And remember, he announced his retirement just a couple of weeks after I made that video of the concrete being poured back there. And I thought, I believe that was why he did, And I personally talked to Conaway, he lives in Midland. I talked to him on a town hall meeting, told him I was ambushed and shot by somebody under my home, and I had pictures of these police I couldn't get identified for 6 years. That's unheard of. That is lawlessness, And so here's the other place. It looks like maybe a possible tunnel because the concrete's a different color here too. And so maybe there was more than one tunnel there. 7.35 million can buy a lot of stuff. This picture I took and actually when I was made a video about the church, Fairmont Park Church of Christ right here, because a law enforcement officer suggested I go to this church and snoop around, okay, at this Fairmont Park Church of Christ, which is right down my alley, okay. You see, here's my home right here. So that's why I go, okay, here's the underground home. You go right down the alley. Here's Fairmont Park Church of Christ. And I have a video of where a guy is running down my alley after midnight being chased by a car, and then he gets stopped right about here and put in the trunk under gunpoint, I mean, there was almost 100,000 people saw that video, and the press didn't report on it. And that's what I've been saying. It looks like the press is working with organized crime here, and, as they're rigging homes and, for this burglary, theft, and murder. That's what I'm seeing. Is that what everybody else is seeing? I mean, how do they explain that? Here, this house had a mortar problem, 3800 Fairgreen, and it has a water well. Ain't that interesting? So there's a water well and a mortar problem, and then this house over here has a mortar problem and has a water well as an empty lot. So I'm wondering if there ain't another underground home over in this area. This is Fairgreen Court right here, this little cul-de-sac, and it's right next to that church. So that might be 3 of the 4. I was told there's 4 underground homes, and so I thought y'all might find that interesting here. And then lastly, before I show you the 2 videos from outside, one of the secret police pictures, they tried to disable them cameras. I was in surgery about this time, and here, I take that back. This here was on February 1st. This was the second entry. And nobody was supposed to know about the first entry on 12912. That's when they withheld the police report. And that's where I got the pictures of the secret police, because they tried to disable the camera and accidentally started it, etc. Okay. And one of them pictures, I see Rosie Rodriguez. She seems to be a main player. And she's pointing up at my security camera right here. And what that camera did was look at this area right here. And I believe she was telling the people in the room here, she's pointing it out. Yeah, right here, that's where the tunnel entrance is. That's how we get it. That's where we sell the little kids to truckers and make all our money, and then we just kill anybody that reports crime. I don't know that, but that's what it looks like. And what I can tell you for a fact, she's already been caught lying on police report, perjuring herself in court, and tampering with evidence. And she just happened to be a lifelong friend of the ex-wife who's alleged to be involved in the shooting. Okay, she's a main player. As I showed you earlier, she personally closed the case and tried to have me committed when I was cleared by mental health, by the doctors, And so I just want to show you her pointing that out. And here, this one, look at the truckers right there next to where the live tree and the 2 side-by-side manholes. And I mean, them truckers would come and go 24/7, middle of the night, holidays, pull up, stay a little bit, leave, never unload freight. Unloading freight is what you expect to happen there. Pulling in, staying for 30 minutes and leaving, and on a 24/7 basis, and I had 2 people that store tell me prostitution was going on back there. 2 of their employees told me prostitution was going on behind their store. And I saw a little girl at the sleeper cab of 18-wheeler driving by one day. And so I believe, people in the attic, they were coming, they had a deal going is what they're doing. They were coming from here and they're going to there. So somebody probably maybe at a truck stop around here, they were coordinating it. It was organized crime, I believe we'll find that out. And so I think they were coming over here and coming back and probably using that man-sized tunnel pipe. This buddy, talk to you later. I'm going to go out here where that depression is out there in the backyard that we can see on the map where the dirt was dug up. And I just want to show you this, if you can see it right in front of that shed right there. It's about 1.5 feet deep right in there, you know, a 2 foot deep ditch, large whole section right there where that gate is. You can see that large depression right there. And what I've told people before, that the bottom of that is the original level of the lawn. And the reason I know that is because the base of my home is buried 1.5 feet deep. The foundation is 1.5 feet under the top of the ground. So sometime after the home was built, this huge amount of dirt was placed on my entire lawn. That one section right there, it looks dug out or whatever. And in the picture, that's what we see, where that's dug out. Of course, this is the area right here where Google Maps shows a large facility in my backyard. It's believed to be one of the 4 3-bedroom underground homes, cost over $1 million a piece, where they're having the oil show parties, the parties that go on during the Permian Basin International Oil Show. That's famous, you know, put on by wealthy oil men, prostitution, drugs, drinking, all that stuff. And I've long believed what was happening is the people going to the party were parking in front of the Home Depot store. That was Home Depot. And somewhere in that store, coming underground and coming back over here via tunnel. You could see that on Google Earth maps, the old historical maps, where the ground was cut, where it looked like a tunnel was cut coming over here. And but I want to show you that depression up close so you can see it for yourself. Okay, now we're going to go out front and look and see where that, it looks like maybe they were hauling dirt. And you can see these concrete boards. That's what you've seen from above ground. That separates my home from the neighbor's home right there. Have them concrete boards. And you come down, and somewhere, it looked like about in this section right in here is where they had removed the concrete boards. And right there you can tell, it's a better view over here, there's a huge pile of dirt right there. That cactus is growing on top of a large mound of dirt, and you can even see it's piled up, the dirt's piled up there. And of course, this is flat country, so anybody here would have to haul in dirt. And you know, and I've wondered if it wasn't dirt from the underground homes, excavation dirt, instead of hauling it off. You know, that's what they used it for. And also, while we're over here, there's the man-sized tunnel pipe leftover piece. It's wondered if that wasn't put in going over to the 2 side-by-side manholes for sex trafficking for the truckers over there.